If you're relocating to New York City and trying to figure out how to actually buy a home here from out of state, this video is going to save you months of confusion and potentially thousands of dollars in mistakes. Because buying in New York City is nothing like buying anywhere else in the country. The rules are different, the process is different, and if you go in unprepared or worse, work with the wrong people, it can be a really expensive lesson. I'm going to walk you through exactly how the process works, what you need to know before you even start looking at listings, and the mistakes I see out-of-state buyers make all the time. Stay with me. This is the video I wish every relocation buyer walked before they called me. Before we get into it, every single week I get messages from people doing exactly what you're doing right now. Researching a move to New York City from another state, trying to understand the market, figure out the neighborhoods, and make sense of a process that feels completely overwhelming from the outside. And I love helping people with this. It's literally what I do. So, if you're thinking about relocating to New York City, whether you want to buy a co-op, a condo, a townhouse, whatever, and you want someone in your corner who actually knows this market, all my contact information is in the description below. Reach out. There's zero pressure, and I'm always happy to jump on a quick call and pull you in the right direction. Okay, let's get into it. The first thing you need to understand, and I cannot stress this enough, is that the New York City real estate market operates on its own set of rules. Almost nothing translates from how you bought a home in Texas, or Florida, or California, or even abroad. Here's what makes it unique. Number one, co-ops versus condos. This is the big one. In most cities, you buy a house or a condo, and that's it. In New York City, approximately 75% of the available residential inventory is co-ops. And a co-op is not like anything you've experienced before. When you buy a co-op, you're not actually buying real estate. You're buying shares in a corporation, the Co-op Corporation. And those shares come with a proprietary lease that gives you the right to occupy your unit. This matters enormously when it comes to financing, approval processes, and what you can and can't do with this unit. A condo, on the other hand, is more like what out-of-state buyers are used to. You own the actual unit as real property. But condos in New York City are significantly more expensive, often 20 to 30% more square foot than comparable co-ops. Number two, the board approval process. If you're buying a co-op, which statistically speaking, many of you will be, you don't just make an offer and get the apartment. You have to be approved by the building's board of directors. This means submitting a detailed financial package, going through an in-person interview, and essentially convincing a committee of your neighbors that you're a good fit for the building. Boards can reject buyers with no explanation. Yes, really. Number three, transfer taxes and closing costs. In New York City, closing costs are higher than almost anywhere else in the country. Between mansion taxes, mortgage recording taxes, New York City and New York State transfer taxes, attorney fees, and title insurance, buyers can expect to pay anywhere from 2 to 6% of the purchase price in closing costs. On a $1 million apartment, that's up to $60,000 on top of your down payment. We'll talk more about this in a minute. One of the biggest mistakes I see relocation buyers make is starting to look at apartments before they've sorted out their finances. In New York City, you need to be financially ready before you start shopping, because the market moves fast and sellers don't wait. Here's what you need to line up. Get pre-approved, not just pre-qualified. There's a difference. A pre-approval means a lender has actually verified your income, assets, employment, and credit. In a competitive offer situation, a pre-approval letter carries real weight. A pre-qualification letter means almost nothing here. Understand the co-op down payment requirements. Most co-op buildings require a minimum of 20% down. Many of the more prestigious buildings require 25, 30, or even 50% down. Some buildings are all cash only. This is a hard rule set by the building. Your lender can't help you around it. Post-closing liquidity. Co-op boards will often require you to show that after closing, you still have 1 to 2 years of total housing costs, which is mortgage and maintenance, and liquid assets. So if your mortgage is $3,500 a month and your maintenance is $1,500 a month, you might need to show $60,000 to $120,000 in the bank after closing. This catches a lot of out-of-state buyers off guard. The debt to income ratio. Co-op boards typically want your total monthly debt payments, including the new mortgage and maintenance, to be no more than 25 to 28% of your gross monthly income. This is stricter than what most lenders require. So even if a bank approves your loan, the co-op board may not approve you. Budget for closing costs. As I mentioned, budget 2 to 6% on top of your purchase price. For an $800,000 purchase, having $16,000 to $48,000 set aside for closing costs alone. Work with your real estate attorney early to get a detailed closing cost estimate based on the specific property you're targeting. Now here's where the relocation piece really comes into play. Most of my out-of-state buyers can't just hop on a plane every time a new listing hits the market. So here's how to make remote searching work. Start with StreetEasy.com. This is the primary listing platform in New York City, not Zillow, not Realtor.com. StreetEasy has the most comprehensive and accurate New York City inventory. Set up saved searches with alerts so you're notified immediately when new listings hit. Understand the neighborhoods before you tour. New York City has dozens of distinct neighborhoods, and they feel completely different from one another. Upper West Side is family friendly and near Central Park. The West Village is charming, but very expensive. Astoria in Queens is more affordable with a great food scene. Downtown Brooklyn has exploded in the last decade. Spend serious time researching neighborhoods based on your lifestyle, your commute, and your priorities. Use virtual tours strategically. Most listing agents now offer FaceTime walkthroughs or pre-recorded video tours. These are great for eliminating apartments that won't work. But I always tell my relocation clients, don't make an offer on a place you haven't personally walked through. The field of a building, the lobby, the hallways, the actual light in the apartment matters enormously and doesn't translate on video. Plan a dedicated search trip. I recommend my relocation clients plan a 3 to 5 day trip to New York City where we schedule back-to-back tours across different neighborhoods and different building types. We use that trip to narrow down your geographic focus and property type, and then you can monitor the market remotely until the right place hits. Okay, you found an apartment you love. What happens next? Making the offer. In New York City, offers are made verbally or via email through your broker. There's no standard offer form like you might see in other states. Your broker submits the offer on your behalf, often with a brief financial overview to show the sellers you're qualified. Offers typically include the proposed price, financing contingency, if any, and requesting closing timeline. Negotiation. Depending on market conditions, there may be room to negotiate price, closing date, or included items such as appliances, light fixtures, and more. Your broker will advise you on what's realistic based on current market dynamics and the specific building. Going into contract. Once an offer is accepted, both sides' attorneys negotiate and finalize a contract. This typically takes 1 to 3 weeks. You'll sign the contract and put down a 10% deposit, which is held in an escrow. Unlike many other states, this deposit is typically non-refundable once a contract is fully executed, except in specific circumstances like a failed co-op board application. The co-op board package. If you're buying a co-op, after contract signing comes the most New York City specific part of the whole process, the board package. This is a detailed application, often 20 to 40 pages, that includes tax returns, pay stubs, bank statements, reference letters, a personal statement, and more. Your broker and attorney will help you assemble this, but you need to be organized and responsive. This process can take 4 to 8 weeks. The board interview. After your package is submitted and reviewed. Most co-op boards will request an in-person interview, typically 30 to 60 minutes with few board members. Be professional, be warm, and be concise. You're essentially making the case that you'll be a great neighbor. Closing. After board approval, or for condos, after the condo board waives its right of first refusal, you schedule your closing. In New York City, closings typically happen at a title company's office with all parties present. You, the seller, both attorneys, and your lender's representative. Plan for 2 to 4 hours. Let me share the things I see trip up out-of-state buyers specifically, because some of these are genuinely not obvious until you've been through it. Mistake number 1, underestimating the timeline. In most markets, you can go from offer to close in 30 to 45 days. In New York City, with a co-op, plan for 3 to 5 months from accepting offer to closing. If you've had a move-in deadline because of a job start date or lease end date, you need to start your search much earlier than you think. Mistake number 2, not understanding maintenance fees. Co-op buildings charge a monthly maintenance fee that covers your share of the building's operating costs, taxes, and underlying mortgage if the building has one. These can range from $500 a month to several $1,000s per month. It directly affects your monthly housing costs and your purchasing power, so factor it in from day one. Mistake number 3, falling in love with a condo budget when you have a co-op budget. I see this constantly. Someone has $800,000 to spend and falls in love with a condo that's around $1.1 million because they don't realize that $800,000 in a condo gets you something very different than $800,000 in a co-op. Get clear on your budget and your property type early. Mistake number 4, working with an agent who doesn't specialize in New York City. This might be the biggest one. New York City real estate law, co-op board dynamics, deal structure, is all unique. Working with a friend of a friend who's licensed in another state, or with an agent who doesn't live and breathe this market, can cost you a deal or cost you money. You want a buyer's agent who is in the New York City market full-time and knows the buildings, the boards, and the neighborhoods intimately. Mistake number 5, not hiring a real estate attorney. In New York City, attorneys are a required part of the transaction, not optional. Unlike some states where title companies handle closings, in New York, you have your own attorney who reviews the contract, the co-op financials, the offering plan, and represents your interest throughout the deal. Budget approximately $1,500 to $3,500 for attorney fees. I want to spend a few minutes on this because for relocation buyers, neighborhood selection is often the hardest part, especially when you don't know the city very well. Here's how I help my clients think about it. Start with the commute. If you're coming to New York City for work, your commute should anchor your neighborhood search. Living in Brooklyn with a straightforward subway ride to Midtown is very, very different from living in the Upper East Side and commuting to a downtown office. New York City's transit system is vast, but also uneven. Some commutes are 20 minutes, others are 55. Then, think about lifestyle. Are you someone who wants to walk to brunch, farmers markets, and bookstores on a Sunday morning? Look at the West Village, Park Slope, or Astoria. Do you want dormant buildings, Central Park access, and a quieter residential feel? Look at the Upper West Side or Upper East Side. Are you budget conscious and want more space for your dollar? Look at Washington Heights, Ridgewood, or parts of the Bronx. And budget dictates a lot. Manhattan will almost always cost more than the outer boroughs for comparable space. A 2-bedroom co-op in Astoria, Queens might be $600,000. A comparable unit in the West Village could be $2 million or more. The outer boroughs, Brooklyn, Queens, have incredible neighborhoods and in many cases better value, while also giving you the New York City lifestyle and transit access. I always recommend my relocation clients spend time, even just walking around, in 3 to 4 different neighborhoods before deciding where to focus their search. The city reveals itself on foot in a way that no amount of internet research can replicate. Last thing I want to cover, and this is important for out-of-state buyers who may not know how this works in New York City. In New York City, as a buyer, you do not pay your agent's commission. The seller pays both the listing agent's commission and the buyer's agent commission out of the sale proceeds. So working with a knowledgeable, experienced buyer's agent to guide you through this entire process, the search, the neighborhoods, the offer, the board package, the closing, costs you absolutely nothing. There is genuinely no reason not to have a great buyer's agent in your corner. What you want is someone who knows the specific buildings and boards in your target neighborhoods, has relationships with listing agents that give you early access to deals, can advise you on what's fair offer in the current market, guides you through the board package process, stays in your corner from first showing to the closing table. That's exactly what I do for my relocation clients, and I'd love to do it for you too. If you made it this far, you are way more prepared than 90% of the out-of-state buyers I talk to. And that's going to serve you really, really well. Before you go, I've got more videos pulled up right here that will help you keep learning about the New York City market. I start with one of these next. And if you're ready to talk to someone about your specific situation, your timeline, your budget, your priorities, reach out. All my contact information is in the description. I look forward to hearing from you. See you in the next one.